the heart of the White Mountains of New Hampshire rises the majestic Mount Washington, the highest peak in the Northeast. But atop this iconic summit, a paradox unfolds. Here, where nature's extremes collide, two delicate and elusive butterflies have found their sanctuary, the White Mountain Fritillary and the White Mountain Arctic.
New Hampshire has this alpine zone in the Presidential Range, which is really unique. It has crazy weather that supports rare plants that were left behind from the glacier retreating. It mimics a lot of habitat in Canada. So these butterflies only live here in this 16-mile zone of alpine habitat, and they're isolated and they're endemic, which means they're found nowhere else except here in New Hampshire.
Discovered in the late 1800s, these butterfly species remained shrouded in mystery. In 2017, New Hampshire Fish and Game initiated research to unravel their secrets and explore the ecosystems they inhabit. Partnering with the U.S. Geological Survey Northeast Climate Adaptation Science Center, United States Fish and Wildlife Service, and the University of New Hampshire, the team was awarded a Science Support Partnership grant to delve deeper into the lives of these exceptional butterflies and understand their life cycles. This included sponsorship to Heather Seart, a graduate student from UMass Amherst. Like anyone else, Heather and her colleagues start their day with a commute. But this is no ordinary journey.
We take the Mount Washington Auto Road to the summit of Mount Washington, and within the Sherman Adams building and then the Mount Washington Observatory Tower and Laboratory area, we have a small little lab space that we captive rear. So we take in female butterflies, they lay eggs, we raise the caterpillars up there to learn more about what they're eating and what their life cycle looks like.
Female butterflies for the project are captured using butterfly nets.
Are you ready for the hike today?
I am, yeah. I'm excited for it. We try to take a few females each year, around 10, and we bring them up into the lab space. We hold the females in what are called egg cups, and we hold them for about 10 days. We get them to lay eggs by keeping them under a light to simulate day and night for them to keep them on that proper hormone cycle.
We've been able to bring them into captivity and collect other information that's critical to understand how they'll persist over time. And those things are, how many eggs do they lay? And how long do they live as a caterpillar? What do they eat as a caterpillar? That was a basic one for the White Mountain Fritillary that we couldn't even answer.
Until recently.
Summer of 2021, we successfully got them to accept some host plants that we had offered them, and I just started crying. I was so excited. Felt like a piece of the puzzle that we were finally getting to put into place.
To solve the puzzle, the research team examined the dietary habits of other fritillary butterflies.
Once we got things going with the White Mountain Fritillary and we were feeling comfortable that our protocols were sufficient, we began work with the White Mountain Arctic in captivity. And they did very well laying eggs right out of the gate, and the caterpillars hatch immediately and feed, which was a big relief.
In this quest for knowledge, funding has played a pivotal role. Along with state wildlife grants and the Science Support Partnership Grant, Heather secured an award from the Waterman Fund, an organization dedicated to preserving the spirit of wilderness and safeguarding alpine habitats.
I'm just preparing that now.
As biologists piece together the intricate puzzle of the butterflies' life cycles, they are also investigating potential impacts of environmental changes on these creatures and how they may adapt.
What we're trying to understand is what are the thresholds for them to survive in this environment. The caterpillars are able to choose microhabitats, so it's possible that they could actually be okay if there were slight changes in climate. They've been adapting to weather for a long time to survive up here. So we really don't know what the thresholds of changing weather will be that could cause some declines in the population. The other thing that really impacts them, again, is recreation itself. You know, we all love to be outdoors, and we get the message out, stay on the trail so we're not trampling the rare alpine plants that the caterpillars need to feed on.
Here, partnerships with the Appalachian Mountain Club and the United States Forest Service offer invaluable support.
There are definitely some social trails that you can see, and you can see areas where Forest Service or AMC has blocked off using rocks some of these social trails to try to deter people from crossing through them. Or going through a Bigelow sedge lawn, people look at it and it looks like comfy grass, and better than that, those rocks that have been hurting your feet for the past mile and a half. And so you will start to see some trails that people will cut through that habitat.
Yet the journey is far from over. For Heidi and Heather, there remains countless chapters to be written in the story of these rare butterflies.
I think every year we work with them, we find out something new, or they do something slightly different than what we assumed that they would do based off of similar species or years past, which is always fun because it keeps you on your toes a bit.
The White Mountains of New Hampshire guard their secrets closely, and with every day of research, the curtains are drawn back, revealing a glimpse into the fascinating lives of the White Mountain fritillary and the White Mountain Arctic.